So today we're going to take a look at a classic riff, one of the all-time greats. And since I had so much fun doing Layla last time, which you can see here, I thought this time we would look at Purple Haze, one of the most iconic riffs by probably the most legendary guitarist ever. So let's go straight to a close-up and I'll show you how to play it, and then afterwards I'll talk about how to get the tone as well. So just as a quick little note for this one, like a bonus riff, the intro, you start, sounds like this. And that's your first finger on the 6th fret of the E string, and your ring finger on the 8th fret of the D string. It's the same note, it's a B flat both times. And you play that 4 times. Okay, so now into the main intro riff. So the first lick sounds like this. So to play that, we start off with slide on the D string from the 7th to the 9th fret with our ring finger, like that. Our second note is on the 7th fret of the G string with the first finger. So far we have. And then we come to the 8th fret of the B string with our middle finger, and we do a quarter note bend and choke it out at the top there. Like that. So far our first 4 notes are, and then we resolve this lick by coming back to the 7th fret of the D string with the first finger and add some vibrato on there. So all together we have, and that's the first lick. The second lick sounds like this. So those 4 notes are, we play the 5th fret of the D string with our first finger, then we play that D string open, and then the low E open. So those 3 notes are, and then we slide up to the 7th fret of the A string, just from nowhere, just a general slide, and add vibrato. That's 5th fret of the D string, open D, open E, slide up to the 7th fret of the A string. Some people also, instead of going to the open D in the second note, there, they'll go to the 5th fret of the A string instead, so it'll be. Either way is right, just whichever works for you. And that's the second lick. So all together we have, that's the entire first phrase. The entire second phrase is just the exact same thing again repeated. Okay, so we're halfway through the riff. The third phrase is a slide up to the 7th fret of the A string with your ring finger. And the whole lick sounds like this. So that's the slide up to the 7th fret of the A string, then the 5th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the D string, and then a quarter tone bend, which you choke out at the top. So all together we have. and then we come back down to the 5th fret of the D string. And add some vibrato on that last note there. The next lick sounds like this. So we play the 5th fret of the D string, then the D string open, then the E string open, and then the 3rd fret of the E string. So our entire 3rd phrase slowly is and now on to our final phrase of the riff. We play the open A string, slide up to the 7th fret of the A string with your ring finger. So those first 2 notes will be. Then we play the next bit like this. So that would be 5th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the D string, and then a hammer on from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. So slowly those 4 notes will be. And all together that little lick would be. And to finish off the riff, we would play this. So that would be the 5th fret of the D string, the 7th fret of the A string, and then a slide up to the 9th fret of the D string. So like this. Then up to the 7th fret of the G string, play it twice, and then the 9th fret of the G string to finish off the riff. Like that. So that entire 4th phrase would be okay, so that's the famous intro riff. I'm also going to show you how to play the verse riff just quickly as well while we're here, because it features the famous Hendrix chord. So this is an E7 sharp 9, because it features the root, which is E, the major 3rd, the dominant 7, and the sharp 9. And it creates tension because you've got that minor 3rd against the sharp 9. On their own it sounds really horrible, but when you put it all together in the chord, you get this nice jazzy, bluesy, funky chord. So how to play the chord is put your middle finger on the 7th fret of the A string, your first finger on the 6th fret of the D string, your ring finger on the 7th fret of the G string, and your pinky on the 8th fret of the B string. So to play this riff, you're playing this chord against the open E string, and it kind of goes like that. 1, 2, chord, 1, 2, 3, chord. 1, 2, chord, 1, 2, 3, chord. I'm making up my own musical language here, but that's how it goes. It can also help, depending on your fuzz settings, if it's particularly fuzzy, it might help to not let that chord ring out. Like that. Then we're coming to a simple G major. Hendrix would have held it like this with a thumb, but you can do the traditional G major bar chord. And it's the same thing. So 1, 2 chord, then move it up 2 frets to the G, to the A major. 1, 2, 3. And this time we're putting our pinky down on the 7th fret of the B string. And then lifting it off like that. Like that. So 1, 2 chord, 1, 2, 3. Pinky on, pinky off. So all together that's and sometimes he'll vary up the strumming on the E sharp 9 chord. But you can just improvise that as you go along. It's not important to get the strumming exactly right there, as long as you capture the vibe. So the amp settings and tone settings for this one's quite a treble-y sound, so if you use the bridge pickup on your guitar, preferably a Strat with single coils, you could also turn the treble up a little bit on your amp settings if you like, on the EQ. And then the main component of this sound is a fuzz pedal. You're going to need a fuzz pedal to get the tone. I'm using a Fuzz Factory, which was actually pretty hard to tame for this lesson, but Hendrix would have used a fuzz face. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time.